I'm just in my feels at the moment, and reading is so fun, you guys. Reading is so fun. Everything's happening so fast right now. It's all very intense. Okay, so I've had a lot of lofty goals for this year, book-wise, and I've reached a lot of them, and I've failed a lot of them. But one that I am so close to finishing that I cannot in good conscience fail is my reread of the Harry Potter series. So this video will not be the best video. It's going to be me just reacting to the last 2 books I have to read in the series. I have done sporadic updates. There have been wrap-ups where I've put the Harry Potter books in them. I've done maybe one. I know I finished the 3rd Harry Potter book in my 24-hour reading vlog. That wasn't a 24-hour reading vlog. But today we will be reading the 6th and the 7th Harry Potter books. Yes, I did pause for thumbnail. I have the 6th book on audio. It came in just in time from the library for me to listen to this while I'm doing my daily things. And super excited for this. This one is actually my favorite book in the series because 1, it's green. 2, it's basically the Slytherin book that I never got. I do not count The Cursed Child because that is not a Slytherin book, my friends. My dudes, I don't even, like, no, I tried to read it, again, from the library. It was trash, so I did not complete, DNF'd for sure. But this is basically the epitome of a Slytherin book. I mean, we go into, like, depth with Draco and his whole, there will be spoilers in this video, by the way, sorry. It's been enough time. Into Draco's whole mission to help the Dark Lord. And, oh my gosh, and then we have Snape's, like, origins, and it's just backstory nation. And Tom Marvolo Riddle, those parts are my favorite by far. So I can't wait to read along and, like, just gush about it. Every little detail that's not important to anybody but Harry Potter stans. And then I will get to book 7. This is a lofty goal, I'm realizing. I don't know if I can. I have a lot of other books I'm trying to read at the moment. This is gonna be interesting. But I've only read The Deathly Hallows once. I have never done a reread of this book, so I cannot wait. And I do remember really liking this one. As a conclusion, I think I was feeling it. So yes, we're gonna start off with the 6th and then head on to the 7th and complete my reread of Harry Potter. Can't wait. Okay, so I've started listening and I am about 10% in already. I got a decent amount of the way in while I was sewing point shoes. And the first things I gotta say is just the fact that this one opens up. Okay, this one opens up in my favorite way, in which we are looking at the Muggle Prime Minister and then also the Minister of Magic, or the ex-Minister of Magic, Fudge. And just Fudge, like, owning up to all of his mistakes, all of his goofs. Oh, I love it. And then you get the bomb that, like, he's been impeached, essentially. And we have we have Rufus Scrimgeour. And the whole, like, the marriage of those two worlds, you don't really see them very often, but that was just really interesting. And then hard pivot to Narcissa and Bellatrix and Snape, and them doing their whole, I was about to say super secret keepers meeting, but the Unbreakable Oath? I just read this. You'd think I know what it was called. You know what I'm talking about. And what other thing? Oh, it's just the fact that Harry's really messy. He has like a certain scheduled time for Dumbledore. That was the other thing. Dumbledore being inside the house with the Dursleys and him slighting them and going, I was told, or I was hoping that you would, you would look after Harry as your own and take good care of him and do the best for him. But I see that he's not the only one you've done dirty. And then Dudley's like, what's he talking about? He can't be talking about me. Because they've royally screwed up Dudley with their parenting. And now we're just trying to find what's the number of this one? Quirrell, Lockhart, Lupin, Moody, Umbridge. Yeah, the sixth, the sixth, Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, which, we'll get there. So, I love Harry Potter! I already have to interrupt myself reading and listening because I want to talk about some standout characters. Number 1, Mrs. Weasley. I, as a rule, don't like how the characters were portrayed in the movies. Don't like movie Ginny, don't like movie Ron, but I also don't like book Ron. Sorry, I'm not a Ron stan. I don't like movie Dumbledore because he he didn't have the whimsy that the book Dumbledore had. And I didn't like the movie Mrs. Weasley. Book Mrs. Weasley is a straight up G. Love her. I love how she becomes a surrogate mother to Harry. And I just love how they care about him so much. It's just so sweet. And then when it comes to Dumbledore, I really enjoy his book character because he is just unbothered. He refuses to let himself be escalated in all things, and I appreciate that in him. So, yes, standout characters right off the bat, and I am like still 10% in, so. Okay, did anyone else remember how much girl hating there was from Ginny and Hermione and Mrs. Weasley with the whole Fleur thing, or phlegm, which I forgot they called her that. It's not cute, honey. It's just because she's pretty doesn't mean you can hate on her. And they go so far as to call her, like, basically call her stupid. And Harry has to stick up for her and go, hey, she was able to, compete in the Triwizard tournament. I don't think she competed well, but, that's not for me to say. And I forgot that the whole Tonks, why is Tonks so moody and, like, despondent thing was a big thing. Like, that's one of the mysteries. And then it obviously gets solved at the end, but I forgot that was a thing. Ugh. Learning so much. I forgot to stop updating for tonight. It's been a long day, but I just want to end with this quote from Dumbledore. He said, "It's far easier to forgive someone for being wrong than for being right." And I know that all of us like to gloat when we are right. It feels glorious, but we shouldn't. But I do. Nighty-night. Okay, the Slug Club. I understand the premise of it, blah, blah, blah. But specifically, Blaise Zabini, who is in the club because he has a famously beautiful witch of a mother, who she is famous because she's had several husbands and they all die mysteriously. That is the book I want next. Just that. It just sounds like Evelyn Hugo or like, what? Oh, Elizabeth Taylor. It sounds like Elizabeth Taylor and all of her many husbands. Someone can make a book about that. And if they haven't, like specifically Blaise or like his mother. I don't even need Blaise to be in it. I just need his mother. Publishers, hit me up. I forgot that I completely skipped over the fact that when they're getting on the train and about to sit down, of course, Harry is sitting in a compartment with Neville and Luna, and he has a moment where he goes, wow, it could have just as easily been Neville who had this prophecy about him. Voldemort could have chosen him, and he kind of a little bit wishes that he did, which is crazy, because he's like, would Neville's mother have chosen to save, would Neville's mother have stood in the way of the killing curse. And he's like, well, of course she would, most likely. But would it have worked? So he's like, if it hadn't been me, then it could have been Neville, and Neville could have died. So he's thinking about things, you know, after the fact in a grand scope that he can't even really comprehend because it hasn't happened. So he's all at the same time wanting something different to have happened, but being like, no, it needs to be this way. And he's taking it all in stride. Like, if I knew about this kind of a prophecy, I wouldn't be so chill. Let me tell you. Hey y'all, sorry for my scrub-like appearance, but I was listening to Half-Blood Prince while I was washing the hair. I know it looks so cutie, right? And okay, I just have to go over a couple of the little details. I don't even remember them, honestly. Like, it's going by so quickly, and I'm just trying to like soak it in. So, first off, we're back at Hogwarts, baby, and everyone's acting like, not like nothing's wrong, but people are trying to keep a sense of normalcy, which is like, you could try. You could try. I'm feeling better about the hints of the Ginny and Harry romance. So, okay, little backstory. When I was a kid, when I was a tot, I was a stan. It was my OTP for life, Harry and Hermione. I mean, alliteration. It's a beautiful pairing. I just mainly don't like Ron. So, but as I get older, and as I read the books more than I watch the movies, and I told you before, I'm not a fan of movie Jenny. Sorry to the actress, Bonnie Wright, you did your best. But she was not my favorite. So the older I get, and this is age, this is growth, this is maturity. The older I get, I appreciate book Ginny. I still don't think it's that amazing that it was like, oh my gosh, a bat bogey hex. What? I don't even know what that is. So the fact that she gets invited to Slughorn's party or welcome back train thing, a salon, that's what it's called, a salon. That's pretty cool for her. And I am feeling the energy of, you know, the romance starting to develop. So I'm okay with it now. Little me was not. She was like, ew. So we get to Hogwarts. Harry is convinced that Draco is a Death Eater. And you know what? This is another reason why I love this book. Because Harry is actually right. He's never right, ever. And this time he is. And so I love that for him. So he's doing the most, spying on him, gets his nose broken. Tonks saves him. Bully. Bully for them. And then we get to the castle. Harry is the Quidditch team captain. Love it. And then like what was the first thing that I had to say? Oh, just that Snape, I don't actually mind him being the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. Like, he's pretty good. And you can tell that he likes it more than potions, even though he's good at potions, clearly. But, Harry really has major cojones in this book. Like, he just mouths off to Snape when he's like, he says yes, and he doesn't add sir to the end of it. So then Snape goes, yes, sir. And Harry goes,
there's no need to call me sir.
It's like, oh, when I was listening to that, I actually went, because I was shocked. The gall. So he gets detention because mouthing off. And then, oh my gosh, and then the potions class. Potions is my favorite in this book. I have many favorites, you know. But I love Slughorn because I think he's just a showboat. And I also love that Harry is better than Hermione at something this time. And then all the potions are just getting more and more specific, and like the Felix Felicis, the love potion. The love potion I love because it's like the added detail of when you smell it, you smell what you're attracted to. So I think it's cute that Harry's like, it smells like this and a Quidditch broom and something floral. And then, you know, in walks Ginny later on and she's smelling like something floral. So that's cute, that's cute. So right now I am, let's see, how far in, honey? 31% in on chapter 10, The House of Gaunt. And y'all know, if you've been here for a second, I love backstory. So we're getting Mr. Riddle's backstory, and I'm loving it. Okay, I'm gonna go and do things, read a little bit. See you for the next check-in. As you can see, currently doing the hair, doing a little straightening, and I'm listening to Harry Potter. Duh, that's what this video is about. Don't judge how rough I am with my hair. Oh, we have had some Quidditch tryouts in which Hermione is super hypocritical. She's such a hippopotamus, it's not even funny. And you know what? I think she deserves Ron for how hypocritical she's being. And also the fact that she's really not having the theory that Malfoy is Death Eater, which I understand why. Harry's been wrong many times. Many. But, you know, give a guy a chance. He is the chosen one, you know? But, oh, the first little pensive background story we get is from the Gaunts. The Gaunts. And I think it's really good that, what's-his-face, Harry, like, he doesn't feel bad for Meropa, but he can say, like, you know, she had a rough time of it, she was a squib, and her dad visibly doesn't care about her, but she does all of the cooking, the cleaning, and she's basically a slave because she's less than, even though she is a pureblood. And she just wants some love, you know, and that's why she puts the spell, no, that's why she gives Voldemort's dad a love potion, because she just wants some love. And then, when she wants it to be real, and ends up stopping that, and then she gets left while Pregnito, she just can't take it. So, but then Harry brings up the idea that she had a choice when his mother didn't, but then Dumbledore's like, actually, your mom had a choice too. And that's the thing, everybody has choices. So that's then a very enlightening thing in the book. And what else? So we have a lot of hormones raging from all of the characters. So they're like cats and heat. So, yeah, listening, doing things. We'll continue listening and doing things. We are on chapter 16, A Very Frosty Christmas, and I love this chapter because the Christmas energy is there. I love it. I love Fleur. I love Harry in general, having his conversations. He just seems like a grown man. Like, I know he's not, but he just seems like he's like coming into his own. And then, tell me why. I forgot Percy existed. So he's back. And he has accompanied Rufus Scrimgeour. And we have another sighting of Harry's cojones coming through. Because he's like, Scrimgeour is saying, you know, it doesn't matter if you're the chosen one or not. It all matters is perception, what people think. So as long as as long as it looks like you are on our side, we're golden. It makes people think that they're safe. And he's like, oh, so you just want to use me as a ploy, like a scapegoat, to like say, hey, he approves of this. He's the chosen one. He's on our side. And at one point, Scrimgeour's like, well, no, that's not what I meant. He's like, no, you were being honest. He's like, but that's not what we're gonna do here. And you know what? Snaps for Harry. We're 53% in, and I really want to finish this. Let's see. It says that I probably have like little less than 4.5 hours left. I want to finish this soon. I want to finish it tomorrow. Tomorrow we're hunkering down and finishing the 6th book so we can move on to the 7th one. Heard? Heard. I'm sorry, I was in the middle of cleaning because that's what I'm doing while I'm listening to this. And they get back to the castle from Christmas break. And they go to get into the common room. And they try to say the password to the fat lady. And they're like, is it this? And she's like, no, you can't come in. And they're like, why? And they're like, she's like, because it got changed, don't you know? And so then Hermione comes to save the day, and she says the password, and I'm not even kidding you. The password is abstinence. They said the hormones are raging. That is all. Okay, I finished it, and this reread. The reread went really fast because I was listening to the audiobook for most of it, and then I continued with the physical copy and listening for the last like 3 or 4 chapters. I have so much to say, and I had to take notes, so it's going to be really clinical and just like point by point. Sorry. Okay, where's the last place that I updated? It was a while ago. First of all, I forgot to say that I am obsessed with Sanguini. That's it. I want to know more about the vampire. Okay, that's it. The next thing was that, so again with book to movie Ginny, I'm glad that book Ginny stands up to Hermione when Hermione's just such an insufferable know-it-all. Like, the more I read Harry Potter, the more I hate Hermione. And that's tragic for me because I used to love her. But she's just a little bit too, I know everything. When in this book, she does not know everything. She's actually quite wrong. But I love when Ginny's like, okay, stop making him feel worse. And if he hadn't done this, then this wouldn't have happened. Like, all the things that happened for a reason. Harry using the Half-Blood Prince's potion book was for the best. If he hadn't done that, he wouldn't have gotten the Felix Felicis. And if he hadn't done that, he wouldn't have gotten... if he hadn't have had the book, he wouldn't have known about the Bezoars. And Hermione's like, well, I knew about the Bezoars. And he's like, but did you use it? She didn't think about it. It was fresh at the top of his mind. So, yeah, Harry slays and Hermione... so loved when Ginny stood up to Hermione. That's the end of that statement. And then, the whole scene with Draco and, like, the bathroom scene. Bathroom? Yeah, they're in the bathroom. Yeah. With the Sectum Sempra. That was intense, and I do like the way the book does the scene where Harry goes and hides the book. I think that was a great, that was a better version of it than in the movie when Ginny just randomly says, I know where to hide this. Why would she know? She wouldn't. And then we go to the whole, like, once the end, like the third act kind of like starts, it does not stop. Because then we find out we need to get all these Horcruxes. And, that was it. The Felix Felicis scene. That's one book to movie scene that goes off perfectly. Daniel Radcliffe, like, he plays it off so well. His acting, immaculate. And I just love that scene where just nothing can go wrong. And he's just silly and charming, and he just so confident. We love it. And he gets the memory out of Slughorn, and then we find out we need to go get Horcruxes. So then we go to the cave scene, and I love how there's just so many instances of foreshadowing for the Inferi. The scene where Dumbledore has to drink all of that potion in that little bird bath thing. It is reminiscent to, I guess, when, like, someone who is your hero or your role model, and they've just been super solid, and they become, you see them, the cracks in their, not their character, just the fact that they are human. And when you see people getting older, like, Dumbledore is obviously like a wizened man with long white hair, but he never seems old to Harry. But when he takes his potion, you can see that he's like, Harry's eyes are being opened to, oh my gosh, he's not, what's the word? He's not invincible. And that's a scary thing for everybody. I hate that thought. Like, when you're people that are the strongest in your life, or, you know, they're mortal. Hate it. But I still have to say, I wish that Dumbledore had given Harry more information, because I feel like a lot of stuff could have been avoided. Like, not avoided, but like avoided, you know? And then Snape. Okay, here's where I have to have a little rant. I don't know if I am a Snape hater or a Snape lover. And I do appreciate this book because it says, it like has the conversation of people. There's no one that is wholly good or wholly bad. And that's the case with Snape. That is his character in a nutshell. And I can't decide if I like him or not. Because clearly he was like a triple agent. This is not a spoiler, for this video was spoiler central. Clearly he's a triple agent. But that didn't mean that he had to behave the way he did with Harry. So I'm just torn, because he was an a-hole, but when it counted, his heart was in the right place. But then he did tell Voldemort about the Potters. So, but he feels bad about it is the thing. So then you're like, oh, you feel bad about it, you feel remorse, but I don't know. I will never know what to feel about Snape. I've gone through phases where I've hated him, and then I've been like, okay, fine, I understand. But then I go back to hating him. And then at the very end, when Dumbledore is killed by Snape, and we have all the funeral proceedings, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, our savior has been defeated. Like, what's this mean for the wizarding community? And throughout all this, Harry's like, I'm gonna find the Horcruxes, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna defeat Voldemort, but he just feels lonely. And that just makes me so sad for Harry, because all his life he felt lonely, and then he gets to Hogwarts and finds Dumbledore, and he's like, okay, I finally have people, a community, and then there's just death all around him, and it's just so sad. Okay. I actually, like, this reread of the very last few chapters, I always get kind of teary-eyed with this conclusion to this book, but this time even more so. I was like, I might cry. I might drop a tear or two, because it's just sad. It's just sad. Oh, and then when Luna and Neville responded to Hermione's like bat signal, because they had their DA medallions, and you know, they were checking them regularly because that was the most fun they had, and it's just like, oh, all the misfits. Okay, we're gonna go on to, well, okay, 5 stars obviously, duh, but we're going to go on to Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I have only read this book once, and I'm scared to read it again, because this is just action city, action central. So it's going to be a roller coaster, and I'm hoping I can finish this before the end of December / within Bookmas. So I also do not have the audiobook, so this is just going to be me and my peepers. Okay, let's keep going. It's time to start this bad boy. Where are you looking? There we go. It's time to start this bad boy. I'm scared because I've only read this once, but I'm excited because I've only read this once. And I'm also kind of sick, which you're going to hear me saying that in about 5 million videos for the rest of this Bookmas. And the only thing I can really do right now is sit and read until I fall asleep. So I am a little bit scared that I won't be able to hold this up. So I might get my Kindle to take some of the brunt.
Chapter 2, we have Dumbledore's obituary. And again, I love reading about people's histories. There is a mention of the Dumbledore and Grindelwald match that happened in 1945. I watched the first 2 Fantastic Beasts movies. Was there a third one? I didn't watch it. Should I have? I was just mad that Johnny Depp got the rough end of the deal. But he's been vindicated. Also, Dumbledore's mother's name was Kendra, and that just seems crazy. Kendra? No, not for Dumbledore. Also, we have another instance where Harry jumped to conclusions and leapt before he looked. He finds the mirror that Sirius gave him in the 5th book. And if he just used it, maybe Sirius would be alive. Probably not, but maybe. The fact that I thought I was gonna get any reading done yesterday while I was visibly ill, laughable. But now I'm reading on my Kindle because, you know, the books are so heavy. And I'm only 6% in. I'm just stopping every once in a while to go, aww. So this moment's awe was the fact that Hestia and Daedalus Diggle are there to take Harry, or to take the Dursleys to their safe spot. And whenever anybody is around Harry and his family, they're like, you must be so proud. And they're like, no. But I forgot that Dudley was actually, like, kind at the very end. He was like, you're not a waste of space. And honestly, when you think about them in general, that is a compliment. And so then Hestia's like, no, Aunt Petunia runs and hugs her son instead of Harry. And she's like, so sweet, Dudders, saying thank you. And then Hestia's like, but he hasn't said thank you at all. He only said he didn't think Harry was a waste of space. So Hestia's like, that's bare minimum, honey. And that's what the Dursleys are. Bare minimum. They gave him a place to stay. No love. None of that. And then the next line, yeah, but coming from Dudley, that's like I love you, said Harry. That's cute, though. It's cute when you think of Dudley and how far he's come. Oh goodness, we just had a line from Hermione saying when they're making the apologies potions for the 7 Harrys, or I guess 6 Harrys, and she goes, ooh, you look much tastier than Crabbe and Goyle, Harry. Ooh, Hermione, I thought she was supposed to be smart. Don't let those words come out your mouth. Throughout that entire scene with them flying with the 7 different Harrys, I had been thinking, please, Harry, find another signature spell. Find another one. And I've been thinking that throughout the entirety of the series, how Expelliarmus is his trademark spell, which is just silly. At least have something like, what is that one? Reducto? At least that one has more of a bang to it. I don't know. But it gave him away when he was fighting Mr. Stan Shunpike. Also, I forgot that Stan has a much bigger part in the book than he does in the movies. Like, does he appear in the 7th movie? I don't remember. Also, something I forgot. Snape is the one that cursed George's ear off, so that wasn't very nice of him. I also forgot that the parents still think they're going back to Hogwarts. What? Huh? Lord Voldybutt is out on the loose, and they're like, but you still need to get your education. Sir, there's more important things. Random thought. If Hermione can fix her teeth like she did in, what was it, book 3, 4? Can't remember. Well, she didn't fix them. Madame Pomfrey did. If that can happen, why can't Harry get his eyesight fixed? Do they not have magic LASIK? Homeboy can't be the magic savior with blurred vision. Okay, I know I must sound like the most idiotic townie you've ever met, but did you know that Ginny's real name is Ginevra? I did not know that. Or I might have, I know I've read this book before, this series before, but I don't know why I never knew that Ginny's real name was Ginevra. I think it's because I blocked Ginny out because I was such a diehard Hermione and Harry stan. I will say that this book is doing something where I'm like, I don't care about who they're dating. I really don't. I just want to know, when I was first reading this, I just want to know how Harry's gonna get out of everything. How they're gonna, hunt them Horcruxes. I don't care about the drama between Hermione and Ron in particular, but even Harry and Ginny, I don't care. It's cute. And it's cute how, Ron's trying to be, a protective older brother, but I just don't care. But this wedding is pretty cute. I will say that. And it's, the last happy moment before all the stuff hits the fan. Oh, but I cannot forget to mention that I think it's really interesting that the Polyjuice potion that Harry takes to look like a random Weasley cousin, Luna can tell that it's Harry. She's perceptive. They're like, how can you tell it's me? And then she's like, it's your expression, or something to that effect. And I think that's very interesting. It can't fool her. I think Luna was an underrated character, but I think that a lot of people feel she's underrated, in which case she's not underrated if everyone likes her.
It's a week later, and I've gotten to 36% of the way in, and I'm on chapter 14, The Thief, and I'm going so slow because I just don't want to update. It's just hindering the process a little bit for me, but I'm really enjoying it. It's just Action City, and I know I did skip over the fact that, Moody, he's dead, but we just had the scene where they go to the Ministry of Magic, and that scene was great because they take the Polyjuice, they become these people, Ron has a wife, it's cool. And then Harry steals Moody's eye back, which triggers pretty much everything else, and they get the locket. So what I haven't said before has been, Ron has been funny. I have to give it to him. Let me give you one instance of his being funny. So when Harry goes and turns 17 and is able to use his magique, he ends up using the spell Accio, or as the audiobook would have you believe, Accio, which the jury's still out on that one. He ends up using that spell to bring everything to him the lazy way. And he even uses magic to tie his shoes. The lace is not up, and he's still worth it. And things are flying and hitting him in the face. And Ron goes, "I'd do up your fly yourself, by hand." So that was actually pretty funny. I had to give a little chuckle at that. But now Ron has flinched himself, which, from watching the movie, most of my memories from this book are from the movie, which I've watched the least amount of every single movie/book in the series. So it's I've never read this book or watched this movie before. I understand that. I was of the notion that Ron splinched himself, but it was really because Yaxley held on to them and ended up finding Grimmauld Place. So they're our safe house has been compromised. We gotta hit the road. We gotta get out of Dodge. So now they're in not the Forbidden Forest. Now they're where they held the Quidditch World Cup. And they're just trying to figure out what they're going to do next. What's the next game plan? So that's what's happening. I fully believe I can finish this before the new year if I just hunker down. So if you ever wondered why I hate Ron so spectacularly, it's because at the first sign of adversity, he becomes a sniveling baby. This is exhibited when they're going off on their Horcrux scavenger hunt, and it actually says that this was their first encounter with the fact that a full stomach meant good spirits, an empty one, bickering and gloom. Harry was least surprised by this because he had suffered periods of near starvation at the Dursleys. Hermione bore up reasonably well on those nights when they managed to scavenge nothing but berries or stale biscuits. Her temper perhaps a little shorter than usual, and her silences rather dour. Ron, however, had always been used to 3 delicious meals a day, courtesy of his mother or of the Hogwarts house elves, and hunger made him both unreasonable and irascible. Whenever lack of food coincided with Ron's turn to wear the Horcrux, he became downright unpleasant. So you can't tell me that it's just because he grew up with in a soft, cushy way. And he would say that he grew up really poor and not privileged, when clearly he did because he was fed. And you can't tell me that, oh my gosh, he's just having a hard time because he's not used to this. Hermione was also having a hard time. She was not used to this, but she was not a big baby. Gosh. And yes, the locket makes everybody feel like, it makes everybody their worst. But I don't know, it's when he is the worst, it's like, it's so annoying. And then to add insult to injury, he doesn't add anything to the search. And when Harry tries to, state his case for why he thinks that Voldemort's, one of Voldemort's Horcruxes is in Hogwarts, they keep saying, no, it wouldn't be there, that he wouldn't be so stupid, like Dumbledore would have seen it. But Harry says, Dumbledore stated to me that he didn't know all of Hogwarts' secrets. And then he says, this is why he would put it at his school. Yeah, his school. It was his first real home. The place that meant he was special. It meant everything to him, and even after he left. And then Ron cuts him off saying, this is who we're talking about, right? Not you. It's like, dude, low blow. So yeah, he's pissing me off right now. But you know what? He's about to leave the group soon. Oop.
Finally, Ron has left us, and I'm just mad that I'm not giving all of these scenes the space that they deserve to shine, because there's just so many good scenes. Godric's Hollow scenes. I mean, going to the graves of Harry's parents and then ending up in Bathilda Bagshot's house with Nagini being Bathilda. Basically, I highlighted something. Oh, just like, I know that Harry and Hermione aren't getting together. I'm aware. But this at this point in the book is where I kind of got hopeful when I was first reading this. And in chapter 16, Godric's Hollow, page 136, when they're looking at the grave of Harry's parents, and Harry gets a little emotional, and it says, Hermione had taken his hand again and was gripping it tightly. He could not look at her, but returned the pressure, now taking deep, sharp gulps of the night air, trying to steady himself, trying to regain control. He should have brought something to give them, and he had not thought of it, and every plant in the graveyard was leafless and frozen. But Hermione raised her wand and moved it in a circle through the air, and a wreath of Christmas roses blossomed before them. Harry caught it and laid it on his parents' grave. As soon as he stood up, he wanted to leave. He did not think he could stand another moment there. He put his arm around Hermione's shoulders, and she put hers around his waist, and they turned in silence and walked through the snow past Dumbledore's mother and sister, back toward the dark church and out of sight, and the out of sight kissing gate. If that ain't romance, I don't know what is. Yo, come on, that's cutie. It illustrates the point that, they get each other. She didn't even have to ask him. Now, she is a little bit weepy and know-it-all, annoying, but I still love it. And now, what is happening is, Harry got just a little down in the dumps because he's like, we almost got caught again. What's going to happen? So, yeah. Oh, and his wand got snapped. That was the big thing. His wand's broken. So, we're going to find a new one. It is the 30th of December, and it is my goal to finish this bad boy today? ? I am at 65% through, so I'm pretty sure I can do it. I just need to hunker down and actually sit down and read. But I keep on stopping to go, oh my gosh, that was a cute sentence. Oh my gosh, that was Harry said it. Right now we are at the point where there's a lot of stuff that happened. Okay, so Ron came back, and I was really happy with Hermione for her sticking her ground and not being like, oh my gosh, you're back, yay. She was kind of like, why'd you leave? Oh my gosh, this scene, in the movies, when I watched the 7th movie, and it was that scene where Harry finds the sword of Godric Gryffindor's, and then he almost drowns. Ron takes him out of the lake, and they try to destroy the locket with the sword, and the locket is of course possessed with Lord Moldy Butt's soul, so it shows Ron, and it was really affecting Ron the most. I knew that when I said, that he's being a baby. I knew that then. I know it now. So it affects him the most, and so Harry's like, you have to kill it. And he ends up seeing Harry and Hermione, and they have a little kissing scene. In the movie, that scene was hot and heavy. I don't know why they were naked. I don't know why they were grinding on each other. It was crazy. But it's pretty crazy in the book too, for what it is. Also, the fact that Ron keeps saying effing is hilarious to me. But they're back, the whole gang's back together, and it is really nice to see them all back together. And then we have them, oh my gosh, the scene where they're with Xenophilius Lovegood, Luna's dad, and they are talking about the Deathly Hallows. That scene, love it. I love backstory. I'm a fan. So we know about the wand, we know about the invisibility cloak, and we know about the stone. And Harry's like Harry is convinced that, the snitch has the stone in it. So he's like, you gotta open this up somehow. I open at the close. And then, oh my gosh, so much happened. Then we found Dean again. He was trapped by the Snatchers because they invoked Lord Moldybutt's name, and get caught by Fenrir Greyback, the werewolf, and he takes them to the Malfoy mansion. And through the process, Hermione gets tortured by Bellatrix. We see Grip Hook, not a troll, goblin. He's a goblin. And oh my gosh, Luna's there. She's been trapped there, which I'm glad she was not in Azkaban, because that would have been tragic for her. And we found Ollivander. And then Dobby helps us, and in the process, Dobby gets killed by Bellatrix Lestrange and her knife as they're busy apparating back to Bill and Fleur's place. And we've just had our funeral for Dobby. Harry dug the grave by hand because he felt like that was the way to do it. And now we're talking to Ollivander. Luckily, Draco's wand has chosen to be used by Harry. So Harry stole Draco's wand, and now he has one. So now he won't be facing he who must not be named barehanded. And yeah, I'm gonna keep on reading, and if I have something interesting to say, I will. Did I take any notes? Mayhaps. Oh, I just have a nice highlight that said, when Harry finally learns how to block his mind from Voldemort's thoughts, and uses occlumency, which he has not been able to thus far. And it just says, grief, it seemed, drove Voldemort out. Though Dumbledore, of course, would have said that it was love. And I thought that was really, really sweet, because love does conquer all. As cheesy as it sounds, love is a way more powerful emotion to me than hate. Although hate's very strong, but I feel like love can overpower all. And don't even try to tell me no different. Okay. Onward, searching for things. And what do you know, as soon as I say that, Lupin comes bearing tidings of good news. Tonks had the baby. His name is Teddy, after her father that passed away a few chapters ago. And they've made Harry the godfather, and that actually made me a little teary. Maybe it's just like, maybe I'm just a really moody, emotional person, but that was like a full circle kind of a thing. And yeah, now we're gonna break into Gringotts and try to, what are we trying to steal? I forget. We're trying to steal something. There's something in there that we want. What is it? I am reading this, I swear. Okay, so we went to Hogsmeade, and oh my gosh, the Aberforth section. I really like Aberforth. I really enjoyed the way he helps out the magic trio. And what did they call them? The something. What is the group's name? Harry, Hermione, and Ron. What do they call them? I can't remember. But I loved how he helped them, and oh my gosh, the whole bit about Ariana and how he just loved his sister so much, and they were never really sure when the whole Grindelwald, Albus Dumbledore, and Aberforth fight happened. They were never sure when Ariana got involved who actually sent the curse out that killed her. So that was just really tragic and made me want to cry, but the whole book makes me want to cry. And now we've gotten to some like really funny bits where Neville comes into the bar via the Ariana portrait. And then what happened? Oh, so Neville's there and ooh, and he's like, my gran, they tried to get her, but you know, they thought she was, you know, they thought they would need less manpower, and she ended up sending somebody to St. Mungo's, and now she's on the run. So Gran's on the run, and she's proud of Neville, and they've been resisting at Hogwarts. And then you see they're in the room of acquirement, and there's just all these people there. And then you have Fred, George, Lee Jordan, and Cho Chang, and Ginny. But Cho Chang, they come into the portrait, or into the room as well. And the most petty thing in the entire book, maybe, is that Harry's like, we gotta find this diadem, right? Also, did I mention that they got the Hufflepuff's trophy? They got that. The cup. Hufflepuff's cup they got, and it was in Gringotts. That's what they were looking for. They got it. They rode off on a dragon. Bye-bye. Back to what I was saying. They're looking for the diadem, and so they're like, do any Ravenclaws know where the lost diadem is? And Luna's like, well, no, they're like, where is the diadem? Oh, then Cho's like, I can show you around the castle to see if we can look for it, because Harry's pretty staunch on the fact that he doesn't want anybody to go with him. He doesn't want to involve more people than is necessary. But then he's like, you know, I could be acting too much like a Dumbledore and keeping things too close to my chest. I have to let people in, as opposed to Voldemort, who's like, I can't trust anybody. Like, even the Malfoys and Bellatrix, he's like, I cannot trust anyone. These are all imbeciles. It's just me, myself, and I. And so he decides to let these people help. And Cho volunteers to take him around the castle. Now, Ginny is also there in that room, and she says, no, Luna will take you. Which I think is so petty. Girl, Cho's not gonna take your man. Unless... If he's allowed to be, if he allows himself to be taken, he was never yours. But now he and Luna are off looking for this diadem, and we have ourselves a chicken or the egg situation, where when you try to get to the Ravenclaw dorms, it asks you a riddle instead of just like a password, because they're so witty. And so the question is, which came first? The phoenix or the flame? Which, I'm not gonna lie, I would not want to do that every time I wanted to get into my residence. That's why I am now and forever will be a Slytherin. And I'm okay with it. I've made peace. I actually, this is an aside. When I first took the Pottermore test, I did the most Slytherin thing that is possible. I cheated. And I got Gryffindor, which is what I wanted. Then years later, I retook it and answered my real feelings, and then I got Slytherin. What can I say? Now I'm gonna see how they get this diadem, because I don't remember. Oh wait, is the diadem in the painting? I think it is. So many golden nuggets. We're going to find the diadem, and Harry goes, it hasn't been seen in living memory, so he thinks about the ghosts. So he asks Nearly Headless Nick, and Nearly Headless Nick, he asks him, where is the Ravenclaw ghost? And he says, oh, it's the Grey Lady. So he's like, okay, gotta go find the Grey Lady. So he goes for the Grey Lady, and she doesn't want to talk to Harry, but he's like, do you want to help the school? She's like, of course I do. And then she says that she is Helena, she is Helena Ravenclaw. So she's Rowena's daughter. And she took the diadem, and her mother sent her former lover to find it. and it was is his name Bloody? Yeah, the Bloody Baron. So the Bloody Baron went to go find Helena, and then she spurns his advances. He kills her, and then he kills himself. And did I forget all of this? Yes, I did. It's like this is a brand new book to me. But the thing I thought was funny was that the way in which Helena says it, she says, when he saw what he had done, he was overcome with remorse. He took the weapon that had claimed my life and used it to kill himself. All these centuries later, he wears his chains as an act of penitence, as he should. She added bitterly. Ooh, she's not bitter at all. She's not bothered. She's very bothered. T. Oh my gosh, everything's happening so quickly. Fred is dead, and I almost cried, but take a shot every time I say that. And Ron and Hermione kissed in a totally inappropriate time. We got the diadem, and it was destroyed because Crabbe did that fiery thing that also killed him, so Crabbe is dead. Harry thinks that Hagrid's dead. Now we're spying on Voldemort and Snape, and Voldemort is about to kill Snape because the Elder Wand isn't truly his, because the person that killed the guy who had the last Elder Wand was Snape, and Snape's still alive, so Voldemort's about to kill him, and it's really, everything's happening so fast right now. It's all very intense. Trust, it is the same day, but I had to leave my house because I said I would give my brother a ride home, so I'm gonna do that. I am having a tough time reading this book because it's making me feel all the things. Like, for instance, and this was the case the last time I read this book, I feel for Snape. There's a line in the book that says, Dumbledore feels that because they often sort too soon, which, I mean, that is the case with anybody, and I feel like the sorting of okay, I'm gonna go off on a tangent here. The sorting of all of these wizards into houses, saying that you are either brave or cunning or kind or smart. What does that really mean, you know? It's just like putting yourself into a box, and I feel like we as humans do that, and people put that on other people. It's like a whole big existential thing that I think about all the time, how we just label ourselves too easily, and like we can be certain things and we can also change because life is changing all the time. Anyway, so I just feel that that's really highlighted in this novel. The fact that, you know, Snape was a Slytherin, he did embody these characteristics or traits, but he can also be brave and kind. And yeah, he becomes that. And the fact that he did it so selflessly and he allowed himself to be thought of as the villain, and he did not want Harry to know that he was looking out for him all this time. Because he really did hate him. He was like, you're a little pompous blowhard. All he saw was James, but he was able to see, he was able to put that aside and look after him, if not take care of him. And I just feel for Snape and how he really did love Lily, and they were friends, and he even said that because he knew at the time when he met Lily, he knew that she was a mudblood, and he knew that he did not like mudbloods. He was predisposed to not like them. And when she says something to the effect of, I have it in my purse, I could easily get it out, but I'm not going to. She is like, is it okay that I don't come from magical stock? And he's like, that won't matter, because he loves her even at that young age. He loves her, and then he loves her later, and then, okay. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm just in my feels at the moment, and reading is so fun, you guys. Reading is so fun. I'm really sad it's over, and I did cry like a freaking baby. Because honestly, at the point where we're in the pensieve with Harry and Snape's memories, it was all downhill for me emotionally. I was not and am not well. And this is just a really good book. It's really good. What can I say? Harry is just the ultimate, main character. He is a hero. He is a hero. Am I supposed to be saying more profound things? Am I a reviewer? No, not really. I'm just chronicling my experience. Oh, the part that really got me goodly was just Harry opening the snitch. I open at the close. He's like, I'm about to die. And it's the stone, the resurrection stone. The thing that he wanted most if he were to have any of the 3 items. He's like, that's what I want. And that's what he gets. And then like when I saw Lupin and Sirius, not so much James and Lily, I guess because he didn't know them in his lifetime really, so like that was always sad, but not quite as sad as when he sees people he actually grew to love and knew more, especially Lupin when he and Tonks just get murdered. And them walking into the whole ending scene with him together, it's just so beautiful. And then, oh, all the Dumbledore stuff, of course. So Harry gets Avada Kedavra, and it was on purpose because Dumbledore says Harry is the last Horcrux. And that is the thing, the shocker, the twist that whenever we all first read this, we were like, what? He's a Horcrux? What? And so he has to willingly give himself up. And when he dies, he goes into this kind of like waiting point. Some would say limbo. And Dumbledore's there and he tells his sob story. And I still think that Snape is probably a better character when it comes to like more good versus evil. Because Snape is flawed, of course. I just think that Snape, coming from being not so great of a character and then becoming a triple agent, that's more redemptive. Dumbledore being Dumbledore was not at all. In fact, he always knew that Harry was going to have to sacrifice himself, and he just didn't want him to do it at the wrong time or with the Deathly Hallows. Like, he wanted to do it a certain way. And he also just outlines how Dumbledore knows that he's been selfish his entire life, and at a certain point he didn't want to know that he had killed his little sister, but he really didn't want to take care of her. He was like, I'm so brilliant and amazing and cool, and I have my whole life ahead of me, and I have to stick around with my brother and my little sister. So he had a little pity me moment, and then he says, Harry, you have the choice. You can either go on or you can go back. And Harry, of course, does. And it's just all like a bunch of scenes like that, and Narcissa saying that he's dead when he's not, because he comes back and he's like, I'm just here waiting for my chance to pounce. And he's like, no one's gonna check a pulse. And then Narcissa checks the pulse and she's like, is Draco alive? He says yes. And she's like, good enough for me, he's dead. So yeah. And then the end, we all know the end. Neville destroys Nagini. So he has this moment, which is very cool. And yeah, all was well. The very last line. I just really liked that I read this book again. I didn't want to because I knew it was gonna make me cry, and it did make me cry. And yeah, I'm glad I did it. I read all 7 books again, start to finish, in this year. I don't know why, but that seems like a very daunting task, and it kind of was. It's just a lot of commitment. If you've already read a story, you read it again. But thank you for watching. I really enjoyed my time here. I hope you enjoyed your time here. If you made it to the end, go ahead, give the video a like for me editing what is most likely an hour-long video just with me talking about a book series that has already been read time and time again. Yeah, you can watch other videos of mine soon, or go back in my backlist, although I don't really like my backlist, but we're working on it. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye. I'm gonna go watch the movies now.